Chapter 1. Cherish. Mederu. Kisetsu. I was far from home in New York City. Amidst a day crammed with publicity events, my husband Takumi and I were speeding through the city in a cab, headed to yet another press interview. Feeling a bit worn out, I gazed out the window, the foreign cityscape blurring into a colourless haze. Suddenly, a cheerful burst of pale pink caught my eye. I would have recognised that familiar shade of pink anywhere. "Sakura!" I exclaimed. "Cherry blossoms." Takumi looked up. "Wow," he echoed, matching my enthusiasm. "You're right. Sakura." "Beautiful," I breathed, marvelling at the clusters of cherry blossom trees lining block after block. It felt like bumping into a long-lost friend. Joy flooded my heart, tinged with a bittersweet pang of homesickness. The blossom instantly transported me to the spring days of my childhood in Japan, picnicking with family beneath a pink canopy, walking to school on an April morning, surrounded by a flurry of dancing petals. In the back of the cab, Takumi and I burst into cheers each time we glimpsed another sakura tree. We pulled out our phones and snapped photos as if we had encountered a celebrity, and bemoaned our inability to leap from the vehicle and bask beneath the pink storm. My colleague, sitting in the front seat, swiveled to face us. "They're just cherry blossoms," he remarked, arching an eyebrow. "What's the big deal?" I looked back at him, mouth agape. "Because they're cherry blossoms," I tried to say. "They're so beautiful. It lets you know it's really springtime." My colleague shrugged. He regarded me skeptically before turning away. His nonchalance threw me off balance for a moment, but it failed to diminish my enthusiasm. I got right back to oohing and ahhing alongside my husband. I simply couldn't stop. Spring. Every spring, meteorologists in Japan begin tracking the Sakura Zensen, the cherry blossom front, as the flowers bloom first in Okinawa, which contains over 160 islands and is best known for its white sand beaches in the southwest, and gradually progress northward to the mainland. The Japanese Meteorological Agency uses 58 designated sample trees across the nation to predict when the blossoms will emerge in each region. In rural areas such as Yoshino in Nara Prefecture, cherry blossoms transform entire mountainsides into cascading pink spectacles, while in urban settings like Shibuya, bustling with people and traffic, you might stumble upon a solitary tree flowering in an unexpected nook or cranny. The meteorologists aren't the only ones who busy themselves with predicting the first bloom. Like many Japanese people, when I see the buds of sakura starting to swell, I grow anxious, thinking, will it bloom tomorrow? Maybe the day after? When I notice the first cherry blossoms beginning to open in a sunny spot, I excitedly tell my family, "The season's starting!" Then I consult my schedule and the weather report to decide on the best day for a cherry blossom picnic. Japanese supermarkets in springtime will put on cherry blossom fairs, their aisles overflowing with sakura-inspired sake, pastries, and traditional wagashi sweets embellished with the iconic blooms and flavoured with their fragrant leaves. From powder pink to pearly white, the sakura motif graces everything from kimonos to household items. The trees also flourish in the grounds of Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines, alongside school campuses and river embankments. Some, like the weeping cherry tree Miharu Takizakura in Fukushima Prefecture, have survived over a millennium and are nationally recognized as a natural monument. And where would Japanese art be without cherry blossoms? The flurry of pink serves as a dramatic backdrop for countless anime, film, as well as classical theatrical arts like No, performed in masks and costumes, and kabuki, heavily stylized performances. They inspire pop songs, adorn ukiyo-e prints and paintings, and feature prominently in literary titles. The Japanese language itself offers a multitude of expressions and terms to capture their blossoms' allure. Sakura fubuki, for the way the petals fall from the tree like snowflakes, hana akiri, or flower light, evoking the gentle glow of the blooms in darkness. The word hanami, which translates to flower viewing in English, hints at Japanese people's long-standing love affair with sakura. The word sakura first appeared during the Nara period, 710 to 794, in the Manyoshu, Japan's oldest anthology of classical poetry. Back then, the imperial court favoured the fragrant plum blossoms imported from China, but as Japan cultivated its own cultural identity, attention gradually shifted to native cherry blossoms. The bloom of sakura in the mountains historically coincided with rice planting season. Because of this, Japanese farmers long revered the sakura as divine harbingers of a bountiful harvest. In 812, the Emperor Saga held the first imperial sakura viewing party, or hanami, an elegant affair, complete with poetry readings and musical and dance performances. Cherry blossoms, which typically last only about 2 weeks, capture both the lush vibrance and fleeting nature of life. It's moving to think that generations of Japanese people have celebrated the sakura at these events with the same emotions that stir within us today. The renowned courtier and poet Murasaki Shikibu captured the essence of the hanami in her classic work, The Tale of Genji, weaving romantic intrigues and power struggles against the backdrop of cherry blossoms. Through such imperial poetry and literature, sakura became firmly established as the quintessential symbol of Japanese spring. For centuries, cherry blossom viewing remained an elite privilege, until the shogun generals of the Edo period decided to share their passion with the masses. In 1720, Yoshimune, the 8th Tokugawa shogun, initiated widespread cherry tree planting in what would become Japan's most popular viewing spots, including the Sumida riverbanks in Tokyo. This era also saw rapid development of cherry blossom varieties, which helped them to spread around the country. The Japanese public, united beneath the pink blossoms, helped to shape hanami into its modern form, a celebration of spring with elaborate food and drink and a beloved national pastime accessible to all. The fact that we are still able to enjoy customs established so long ago makes me sincerely grateful for our rich history. Our affection for cherry blossoms has now crossed oceans, taking root in faraway countries. In places like the tidal basin in Washington, D.C., cherry trees gifted from Japan many years ago continue to bloom each spring. When I consider how our shared love for seasonal beauty transcends cultures, it fills me with the warmest joy. Why do I love cherry blossoms so much? I can think of innumerable answers to this question. First, it's that pale, gentle pink of the petals. No other colour in the world sparks so much warmth and brightness in my heart as sakura pink. Every time I witness this soft hue in the spring air, my heart brims with hope and tenderness. And above all, the beauty of falling cherry blossoms is incomparable. Even as I hope to watch this beauty for just a day longer, the petals fall carelessly in the flurry of wind. The truth that a life with an end is beautiful quietly pierces my heart. How many more years do I have left to watch these cherry blossoms? Awakening the same delicate sensibility that moved the poets of the imperial court is an effect of the sakura's presence. Perhaps what I love most about cherry blossoms is their ability to offer an occasion for reflection, a moment to deeply experience the season through a single entity. In Japanese, we call the act of adoring something mederu, written with the kanji character for love. Let us consider this concept of mederu as we explore the 4 seasons of Japan. Summer. In Koto Ward, Tokyo, where I grew up, a grand fireworks festival was held every summer. That day was special. When I was little, my job was to go to the Arakawa riverside during the daytime to secure a spot. By evening, I would change into a yukata, an unlined robe, usually cotton, and join my family, sitting down on the picnic sheet that I had spread out in advance. As the sky began to darken, a quiet excitement took over the riverside. Then, a grand firework bloomed across the night sky, accompanied by a resounding boom. What followed wasn't a simple evening of entertainment. At the start of each series of fireworks, the name of the artisan and the theme or features of their art was announced. The viewers sat in awe, looking up at the dazzling display and quietly appreciating the momentary art floating upon the dark sky. For me, fireworks are a uniquely Japanese emotional experience that has been etched into my mind along with the heat of summer. That's why discovering that in some countries, fireworks aren't limited to summertime was such a shock, and this realization made me appreciate Japan's fireworks culture all the more. The way fireworks are made in Japan is also unique and deeply traditional. While fireworks in the West tend to be cylindrical, Japanese fireworks are spherical. Japanese artisans, some of whom belong to families who have perfected the craft over generations, pack layer by layer of colours and patterns by hand. Each shell can take days or even weeks to be completed, and they explode with perfect three-dimensionality. This is why fireworks are beautiful no matter the angle you look at them. Even the sound of the explosions has a perfect dimensionality. Indeed, the sound of fireworks exploding in the summer night is more than just a sound. It becomes a vibration that resonates deep within the body, reverberating into every cell. Summers in Japan are stiflingly hot and humid. As evening approaches, however, temperatures decrease, humidity dissipates, and a subtle sweet aroma emanates from the earth. I can still recall how special it felt to slip my arms through the crisp, cool fabric of a yukata in preparation for the annual summer festival in my neighborhood. Now I only need to close my eyes to conjure the taste of ice-cold ramune soda, popular at such events. It's a fruity, carbonated drink sold in a glass cod-neck bottle, a 19th century design, with a chamber that holds a marble and rubber washer sealant to withstand the pressure of the gas. The marble is pushed into the bottle to open it. I also visualize the fireworks erupting in brilliant hues and patterns against the night sky, and feel the multi-dimensional sound resonating through my body. We might assume that joy is perpetually within our grasp in our modern world. After all, we incessantly scroll through images on our devices, curating our preferences and sharing our passions with the world. Yet, whether I'm working in Japan or the United States, one of the most frequent admissions I encounter while tidying with other people is that they don't know what joy feels like. Genuine joy, the kind that resonates deep within our hearts and souls, remains elusive. When sharing my tidying method, I've always encouraged people to hold each item, hug it if necessary, to see if it brings joy. Going through this process of deciding what to keep and what to discard by touching each item hones our sensitivity. Admiring the changing seasons works in much the same way. Perhaps what we need to do more of today is to marvel at something that exists close to us, much closer than anything we can admire through a screen. As I write this, Japan is still in the rainy season, humid with somber grey skies. Once the rain passes, it will be the height of summer. I've learned that contemporary firework displays in Japan now blend time-honoured artisanship with cutting-edge innovation. The fireworks explode in time to music, and drones are even employed to create dazzling spatial art. While I personally favour the understated beauty of traditional fireworks, I know that whatever evolution fireworks undergo, they will be a brilliant occasional opportunity for us to lift our eyes from screens and look up together at the night sky, united with one another and nature, if only for a moment. Autumn. If you've ever visited Japan, you've probably noticed that Japanese people are quite serious about food. The diversity, painstaking preparation, exquisite presentation, and almost fervent passion that accompanies each meal is truly remarkable. From convenience store treats to multi-course kaiseki experiences, culinary delights flourish year-round. But I think that autumn might be the most delectable season, living up to its reputation as nature's most bountiful harvest. During my time in the US, the arrival of autumn would always intensify my longing for Japanese cuisine. Knowing how many autumnal delicacies are tied to specific regions and are only fleetingly available, and thus nearly impossible to procure from abroad, intensified my longing. But in my fourth autumn living in the US, while talking to my daughters, I realized something alarming. They weren't familiar with the concept of Japanese autumn flavors. Nothing could be more serious. I immediately planned a trip back home to Kyoto in autumn, with its beautiful foliage. There we indulged in seasonal delicacies, such as charcoal-grilled Pacific sori fish, served with a sprinkle of salt and a squeeze of lemon. The pine mushrooms known as matsutake in Japan, perfectly round, luminous dumplings, specially crafted for viewing the full harvest moon. My daughters marveled at every bite. This is autumn in Japan, I remember telling them proudly. Japanese seasonal ingredients sourced from the wild are ephemeral treasures, typically available for a mere week or two. Their preparation often demands considerable time and effort. Take, for instance, the Japanese kuri chestnuts. Sweet and golden yellow and boiled, they are harvested in autumn, only after naturally falling to the forest floor, and their spiky outer shells make protective gloves a necessity. The outer shell and inner skin must be removed before the chestnuts can be washed and sorted. Every year, I look forward to making kuri gohan, or chestnut rice, for my family. The moment I lift the rice cooker lid never fails to spark joy. Golden chestnuts emerge like hidden jewels amidst fluffy rice, releasing a savory, intoxicating aroma that permeates our home. In our era of convenience, seasonality may seem less relevant to our daily existence. If we really wanted to, we could decorate our homes with sunflowers in midwinter and eat chestnuts at the height of summer. Today, I can't help but feel that nature and humanity live out increasingly separate timelines. When nature asserts itself, we may perceive it as an inconvenience or annoyance, an intrusion upon our carefully laid plans and schedules. But living alongside nature used to be a matter of survival. Humans needed to synchronize with their environment to ensure they had enough to eat and protect themselves from the elements. In ancient Japan, people structured their years according to the Kyureki, a lunisolar calendar. This hybrid timekeeping system, which considers both the phases of the moon and Earth's orbit around the sun, originated in China, but was adapted in Japan to reflect the country's unique climate and natural phenomena. The Kyureki divides the 4 seasons into 6 segments, creating 24 divisions called sekki, solar terms. The sekki is then divided further into 3, resulting in 72 ko, or micro-seasons. A sekki typically lasts about 15 days, while each ko spans roughly 5 days. The 24 sekki begins with Rishun, beginning of spring, in early February, progressing through the equinoxes and solstices of spring, summer, autumn, and winter, before concluding with Daikan, greater cold, in late January. Meanwhile, the 72 ko often bear poetic, descriptive names. Autumn's micro-seasons, for example, include rice ripens, farmers drain fields, crickets chirp around the door, and maple leaves and ivy turn yellow. These evocative names not only chronicle nature's gradual transitions, but also offer gentle cues on how we might align our lives with these rhythms. The Kyureki was officially discontinued in 1873 when Japan adopted the Western Gregorian calendar as part of its broader modernization efforts. However, certain groups, including farmers, fishermen, poets, and artists, maintained their everyday rhythms according to the Kyureki. I can understand why. The 24 sekki, each only lasting approximately 15 days, give me a more nuanced lens through which to view each day, allowing me to catch each season in all its details. For example, on the day marked as the time when insects sing, I once heard the bell crickets chirping in my yard and thought, wow, the calendar is truly alive. Today, guided by the words of the Kyureki calendar, glancing outside and wondering what I might see that day has become a small daily pleasure. Following the Kyureki throughout the years, I've begun to realize that unlike other calendars that tell me of places I need to be and things I need to accomplish, the Kyureki reminds me to slow down. It encourages me to pause, look around, and savor what nature has to offer. When I eat an autumnal food, I try to take each bite slowly and with a deep sense of gratitude. The delicious and unique flavors aren't the only gift of these delicacies. They embody the very energy of nature's cyclical rhythm at that precise moment. I don't want to miss it. Winter. Winter draws my attention to the home more than usual. Few would be surprised to learn that Japan's year-end cleaning ritual is my favorite. As the new year approaches, a palpable energy sweeps through Japan, urging its people to restore order and prepare their homes for the coming year. New Year embodies the concept of fushime, a pivotal turning point. The very utterance of this word encourages me to stand up tall and face the task at hand. Osoji, the year-end cleaning ritual, bears both a practical and symbolic meaning because it occurs at this critical juncture. While Western cultures typically reserve major cleaning for spring, Japan's osoji tradition has long been a winter custom. The practice evolved from susubarai, a soot cleaning ritual at the imperial palace, which began in the Heian era, 794 to 1185. This noble custom gradually spread to temples and shrines before taking root among the general populace in the Edo period, 1603 to 1868. All the while, it maintained its spiritual significance as a purification ritual, performed to welcome the Toshigami, the god of the new year, who is believed to bestow good fortune upon a clean and orderly home. During the annual osoji, I try to address each place I clean. While wiping the front door, I whisper, "May many blessings visit this home in the coming year." As I clean the grooves of the kitchen counter, I say with gratitude, "Thank you for helping me prepare delicious meals for my family." While dusting behind the headboard in the bedroom, I make a quiet wish, "May we sleep soundly and enjoy a healthy year ahead." Of course, I couldn't complete my cleaning without the help of my family. My husband takes care of the bathroom, my daughters handle the hallways and stairs, and their little brother dances around to cheer everyone on. Dividing the tasks this way during osoji helps us deepen our appreciation for our home and strengthens our sense of family unity. These year-end rituals and customs bring Japanese people closer to the spiritual significance of our homes and the time we spend in them. Just as life follows the cycle of seasons, emerging in spring, peaking in summer, ripening in autumn, and withering in winter, I've come to perceive a similar trajectory in inanimate objects. New possessions radiate a special energy, then enter a period of peak enjoyment, their summer. Our relationship with them deepens over time until they complete their service. At the same time, there are items, like a well-loved book or a family heirloom, whose value grows with use, while others serve a purpose only for a limited time in our lives. My awareness of an object's lifespan greatly influences how I tidy. Take, for instance, the first pair of sneakers my children wore. When I see the worn soles and dirt stains, I can suddenly hear their laughter as they dash through the park that day. Still, once I see that the shoes have long been outgrown, I give them one final squeeze and let go with a heartfelt thank you. Orime tadashi, literally translating to folds that are properly aligned, describes someone who conducts themselves with propriety and mindfulness. I believe this expression uniquely reflects a culture where garments were traditionally folded into tantsu dresses rather than hung up in closets. The kimono retains its graceful form because it is meticulously folded and cared for before it is stored. I aspire to conclude each season with the same care and intention that I invested in experiencing it. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter. To have something to appreciate in each season is truly a blessing. However, in recent years, the reliable seasonal indicators we have long depended on have begun to shift due to global climate change. I've heard that it's becoming more difficult to predict the northward path of the cherry blossom front across Japan, and in some years, the summer lingers for so long that autumn seems to pass us by almost unnoticed. The cost we may end up paying for losing the subtle transitions of the seasons will no doubt be immeasurable. Even so, I want to continue cherishing the fleeting beauty of nature that can only be felt in this very moment, no matter the circumstances. I want to value the time-honored traditions and sensibilities that have been passed down through generations. What kind of seasonal changes do you see in the place where you live? What seasonal delights do you find yourself wanting to hold dear or mederu? Just asking yourself these questions might make the time passing before your eyes look a little different. Becoming more aware of the changing seasons can help us realize how precious the present moment truly is. And that, in turn, can fill today, this very day, with sparks of joy and wonder.